Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Willman. I work as a photographer, a documentary photographer actually, in Southern Africa from Ethiopia to Cape Town. I do photo shoots for about 52 organizations that deal with many issues around Africa. I'm very passionate about Africa. I'm obviously a very proudly South African individual, and I just, at 35 years old, I've learned a lot in what it is to persevere, to have a dream and to follow that dream. You know, when I was a young kid, my mother passed away when I was 15 years old, and many of you who've perhaps experienced that or understand what that's like, you'll understand that it's a very difficult time at 15 years old. I suddenly went into boarding school and I found that I didn't have family around me. At that time, Nelson Mandela was the president of South Africa, and he became a light for me. He became an individual that I needed to journey to. I needed to make that decision to say, right, although this is happening in my life, I can go out there and I continue to believe in the dream. And my dream was just to shake this man's hand. Now, when I say shake this man's hand, it goes a little further than that. He became, for me, an individual who exemplified everything I saw in what it is to be an adult. He was a man who was very comfortable with himself, a man who was very giving, loving, caring about other people. And that was my journey. I needed to find that person in my life. And it took me 9 years. Now guys, when I say 9 years, I don't just mean, I want to meet Nelson Mandela. I think every single person on this planet wanted the same thing. I made a concerted effort. I knew that if I was going to overcome my challenges, I wasn't going to have to rely on other people. I didn't have to rely on money. I had to rely on what was here. And what was here was this idea that I can achieve what I set my heart on. You know, people often say to me, it's dangerous to believe in a dream. It's dangerous to have these goals which are unattainable. Here I am, I grew up in KwaZulu-Natal in a little town outside of Durban called Pinetown, and nothing special about Pinetown, industrial place, a lot of things get made in Pinetown. But I had this dream, and that dream was Nelson Mandela. And many people told me, you'll never get there because Mandela's too famous. You know, when people say, how did you get to him? I say, I got to him because I had a dream. And that confuses people because a lot of people don't achieve those dreams. It's not the fact, and I need you to listen to me here, it's not the fact that you have a dream that you achieve that is going to be the end result. It's the idea that a dream gives you a life worth living. When you have challenges in your life, when you have things in your life which pull you down, people teasing you, people saying you're not worthy, people saying you have no opportunity, you've got no education, you've got no money, I'm going to stand up and say that's a lie. Because no matter where you're at and where you're from, there's always that opportunity to have that dream. And I achieved that dream, not because I was worthy, not because I had financial backing or had well-known people behind me. I had that dream, it's because I believed it was possible. And sometimes we don't achieve these dreams all the time. These dreams are what makes your life worth living. You're sitting now in your life wondering, what am I going to do in my life? I didn't know that I would end up as a commissioned photographer to Nelson Mandela. It took me 9 years to get to Mr. Mandela, and when I say 9 years, it was a concerted effort every single day saying, right, what can I do today that can get me to this man? Because he embodied so much of what I believed in as a young South African. Remember, back in the day in 94, 95, when South Africa had truly changed into a democratic country, we as a people, as South Africans, white, black, Indian, coloured, we all needed to find our place. I had friends who were leaving this country left, right and centre. But I chose to stay, and I made Mandela that goal for me. And I used to write to him once a month. For 6 years, I used to write to Nelson Mandela, asking him every single question under the sun, just so that I could have an opportunity to meet him. I sat outside his house in the corner of 4th and 12th in Houghton, hoping that his guard, or Zelda, whoever his PA was at the time, to please let me in. No one gave me that opportunity. I remember sitting in a toilet cubicle, and you know how small a toilet cubicle is, just to meet David Beckham, that famous footballer, English footballer, just so that I could ask him, please Mr. Beckham, take me to Nelson Mandela. I asked F.W. de Klerk, Bishop Tutu, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, rock stars, movie stars, politicians, anyone just to say, can you help me? And not one of them was able to say, Matthew, yes I can, here's the door open. Because if that happened, life would have been too easy. What I did was, I went out into this country. I began to say, hold on, if I was going to have the privilege of meeting a man like Nelson Mandela, I needed to know who we were as a people. And I used the camera. I used a tool that I knew I was very good at, and I studied for 4 years in photography, and I went out there into the country using my camera and my photography to tell the story of who we are. From tribal, traditional, cultural issues, right through to our political issues. From Robben Island, I spent 18 months living and working on this fantastic island. I eventually got to Nelson Mandela on the 13th of August 2004. And I remember the very first question I asked him, I said, Mr. Mandela Madiba, sir, I was so nervous. You have in your mind this, you're finally achieving your goal. And I was so nervous I didn't know what to call him. And he shook his hand and I said, dear Mr. Mandela Madiba, sir, it's taken me 9 years to get to you. And he just replied saying, yeah, and why didn't you just call me? And obviously I'm like crying inside, but at the same time I'm laughing because this is the quality of the man. This is the beauty of the man that I got to know over 10 years. This idea that the man you see in public was the same man in private. And I never once took for granted what it was and what it is to live that dream. And today as a photographer working with HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, primary healthcare issues that are very real in our world today. Issues of finances, issues of societal change and gender issues, cultural issues. It began because I had a dream with Nelson Mandela. And my challenge to you today, and it is a challenge, because you don't have to take this up, you don't have to make that choice. But my challenge is to say to you, what is your dream? Is what you're doing now in your lives, wherever you're at, whether you're a good sportsman, academic, cultural, creative, artistic person, is what you're doing in your life today going to give you a future that is worth looking forward to? That's your challenge. Thank you.